instruction, and I'm going to provide an overview of our EDM program. And then I will turn the time over to Catherine Dornfeld Tessenbaum, who will talk about perspectives and practices. Then Mike Tessenbaum will talk about digital learning. Idalia Nunez will talk about the bilingual bicultural concentration. And then Anne will take us through the application process, followed by questions and answers from you. So really, we have a core program, perspectives and practices, and then we have two concentrations, one in digital learning and one in bilingual bicultural education. So you can pursue one of those three areas. For the certificate, we have that in bilingual bicultural, and it involves taking just 3 courses from our suite of 5 courses, and that gets you a certificate. For the bilingual ESL endorsement, which is provided by the Illinois State Board of Education after you've completed coursework and completed 100 hours and taken the test, you may receive the endorsement. That involves the 5 courses that count for the concentration in bilingual bicultural education. So the idea was that you can get certified by the state or endorsed by the state, and you can take the courses to get the concentration. So our Master of Education consists of 8 courses, and those in perspectives and practices, bilingual bicultural, and digital learning. And we'll tell you a little bit more about each of those. Now, our program consists mainly of synchronous sessions. We do have one course that is offered asynchronously, but we have found that synchronous sessions work really well in terms of having students in breakout rooms, etc. So we use the online video synchronous sessions, and they meet once per week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, generally starting at 4 p.m. or at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, and they go for almost 3 hours. These sessions are designed for you to interact with course instructors and your peers for an enhanced learning experience. So these are the really the major components of our sessions. Just a little bit about me. I serve as department head. My own research is on teachers' writing instruction within current policy contexts. I've been editor of the research in the teaching of English, and I also work with the University of Illinois Writing Project with local schools, writing studies, and the National Writing Project. So really the purposes of our program are to explore current trends in curriculum instruction, to conduct inquiry into educational settings, to apply technology to education, and for you all to learn collaborative strategies that you can also use with your learners. We want to help you to design curriculum for diverse learners and deepen your own content knowledge. We also really want to focus on improving instruction across literacy and STEM content. So we think about employment opportunities, mostly for practicing teachers. So the program is very much aligned for K-12 teachers, but we also think about our audience for people who want to be curriculum specialists, instructional designers, or in some cases, especially with the digital learning, entrepreneurs. And now I'll turn the time over to Catherine, who will tell you a little bit about herself and the Perspectives in Practice program.
All right, good afternoon. So I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Curriculum and Instruction, and I specialize in designing scaffolds for formal and informal learning spaces, mostly in classrooms and museums. And so my goal is to really support scientific inquiry through including social, material, and technological supports, and also looking at learner-centered pedagogy, 21st century skills, and including diverse learners in these environments. So to talk a little bit about the Perspectives and Practices track. So this track is designed to accelerate professional development of teachers and other educators to understand interconnections among theory, research, and practice. This program is highly customizable, and students have considerable flexibility with what courses to take and when. So right now our program includes one core course, Curriculum and Instruction 501, Curriculum Development for the 21st Century, which I teach. You are also asked to take 20 hours of elective courses. And within that, keep in mind that a Master of Education program requires 12 hours of 500 level coursework. Along with that, we also ask students to complete other foundational courses around educational policy, organization, and leadership foundations, and also educational psychology. And so you would take 4 hours from each of these areas, which is about one course each.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Tessenbaum. I'm also an assistant professor in curriculum instruction with a co-appointment in educational psychology. My work largely focuses on collaborative learning in knowledge communities and how children develop STEM and computational literacies through the use of technology, and really thinking about how we can transform classrooms and informal learning spaces, including museums, maker spaces, libraries, that combine the idea of the physical space, digital information, and teachers and students together to create new forms of collaboration. And so I am in charge, or whatever you want to say, about the digital learning concentration. And the digital learning concentration really focuses on the creation and research of digital environments for learning and teaching. This focus area is really ideal for students who want to learn more about the potential of technology and learning environments in both formal, like K-12 classrooms or even post-secondary school, and informal, museums, after-school clubs, maker spaces, libraries. The program also provides really interesting opportunities to explore out-of-school learning opportunities, such as educational games, toys, apps, and anything like that that sort of, is more in the sort of commercial space, if you want to think of it like that. And so for the typical digital learning plan of study, there is the core course. It's quite similar to what Catherine showed, 501. Then you choose 3 of the digital learning courses, and then 2 from the electives. I think we need a slide change, sorry. And then for some reason that's the same slide, sorry. There we go, thank you. And then same as with the other program, pick 1 from educational policy, organizational leadership, and 1 from educational psychology foundations.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Idalia Nunez. I'm an assistant professor of language and literacy with specialization in bilingual and ESL education. My research interests include exploring translanguaging in and out of school settings with Latinx students and families, Spanish-English bilingualism, biliteracy development, looking at linguistic equity for multilingual communities of color in educational settings, and also looking at bilingual and ESL pre and in-service teacher education, identity, and agency. And just broadly, my research really focuses on recognizing the everyday cultural and linguistic resources of students of color, specifically those who are coming from Latinx backgrounds. We can change the slide. So today I will be sharing a little bit of a description for our bilingual bicultural concentration. This concentration provides all educators with a better understanding of teaching strategies, approaches, and methods to supporting multilingual students or emerging bilinguals. Our students learn about research-based curricular and instructional strategies, including using new digital media to effectively teach students from whom English is a second language. This concentration also aligns with the course sequence for the bilingual and ESL endorsements designed for Illinois educators who wish to add an endorsement to their Illinois professional educator license. Typically, our ADM bilingual bicultural plan of study consists of a total of 32 hours. Like my colleagues have mentioned, you would take a core course CI 501. Then you would take 20 hours of our bilingual bicultural education courses, where you will be reviewing the history of bilingual education, the early and recent theories of that inform bilingual education, and the various program models that have been implemented over time, as well as the strategies, approaches, and methods to planning, designing, and implementing instruction that supports language learning for emerging bilinguals or multilingual students. And additionally, as well as the previous programs have presented, this concentration also has 2 courses that you would be taking with as part of the Educational Policy Organization and Leadership Foundation courses and the Educational Psychology Foundation course.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ann Jones, and I am the assistant to the head in the Department of Curriculum and Instruction. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our tuition and fees and how you can apply. So effective in the academic year 2021-2022, the current tuition for online programs is $490 per credit hour. And I should say that there's a special note that tuition is always subject to change, but please see the Office of the Registrar page for complete information about tuition and fees. Next, how can you apply? So there is a link here on this slide, and these will be made available to you later. There are several things that you need in order to apply. The first is a personal statement. We'd like to know a little bit about you and why you are interested in our program. We ask that you write a minimum of 500 words for the personal statement. And though there's no maximum, I would encourage you to stay with approximately 2 pages to tell us about yourself. There is an application fee that is a little bit different between domestic and international students, and the fee must be paid within 3 weeks of submitting your application. Along with the personal statement, the application includes a resume or CV, 3 letters of references, and you will give us information of who you would like those letters from, and then we actually contact them to ask for those letters. We will ask for your transcripts. When you are applying, we will take an unofficial set of transcripts when you are applying. And then once you have been admitted, we will need official transcripts from your undergraduate programs. You do need a minimum of a 3.0 GPA to apply. For more information on financial aid, please contact our Office of Financial Aid at illinois.edu. We do have some application deadlines. If you would like to apply for our Masters of Education online, the summer 2021 term A, the deadline is April 15th. And as you can see, the other deadlines, we do apply a rolling admission. So if you applied for fall term A and you didn't quite make the July 15th deadline, you can always start in fall term B and use the September 15th deadline. There's also more information on the online certificate if you want to go there. If you have any questions, we encourage you to contact our Graduate Student Services Office first as a direct line. It's gradservices@education.illinois.edu. They will be your first line of defense if you have a question or you have any confusion. then you are always welcome to contact me. I can make my information available as well. And once you are admitted to our program, you will receive first an email from Grad Student Services saying, congratulations, you have been accepted. That then needs to go to the grad college and they will approve you and send you a final welcome to Illinois. So everything is based on the grad college accepting you. Once that is done, you will receive information from your advisor. During that time, you will also get a brief email from me helping to explain some of the links that you may need to go to, where to register, and answer any questions you may have. We are also in the process in the Department of Curriculum and Instruction in making welcoming videos so that you know a little bit more about our programs. I'm going to stop sharing, and at this point, we can answer any questions you may have.
So I have a quick question. I've currently been in education for 17 years. The last 4 years I've been a dean of students. I'm in a CTE career center. I'm looking to forward into a principal leadership program, but my degree is a non-education degree, and I'm having a problem finding how I can get my PEL in order to move forward and apply to that principal leadership program. And I'm wondering if a master's will take my CTE license and bump that to a regular PEL, or how that'll work, or if this program will work for me.
I'll take that question. So this is not a licensure program, and so I'm not sure how that translates for you into your future work. This is aimed at practicing teachers. However, we do have a wider audience of people who want to pursue other kinds of education-related experiences in a variety of settings. So do you want to follow up on that with anything specific? Because I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, I guess that you did answer that question. So this program, I guess, is not what I'm looking for. Do you know who I might contact at Illinois in order to try and get this figured out, to get a path, I guess?
Well, we do have licensure programs, and they're licensure programs with master's degrees. However, they are face-to-face. And so I don't know if that works for you in your context.
Okay. That's what I need to know. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Where can I get information, or who can I talk to about superintendent endorsements?
Sangeeta, that's a question for you.
I was just composing a response to, is it Diona? Yes, we had an information session yesterday about this topic. I will send you information in the chat. And in fact, I could even send you the recording from yesterday's session. So maybe you can look at the recording. It was a similar information session like we have for today.
That would be perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sangeeta, do you want to take the question about CPS educators?
So the CPS special, the discounted tuition rate for CPS educators program is concluding as of spring B. Any other questions, folks? Don't be shy. I think the panelists allocated extra time for having a conversation. So feel free to type your question in the chat or turn on your video or just ask in the audio format. Don't feel shy.
Thank you. You inspire me. So I do have one question. What about foreigners? Do we have to have some other set of requirements for taking the master degrees?
Sorry, other sets of requirements such as?
Yeah, that I want to take a master degree. Do I need anything else besides what's being displayed on the website?
You just need to have a bachelor's degree already with a 3.0 average and a degree that would relate to a US bachelor's degree. And then you apply and include all the materials on the slide that Anne showed.
Okay, no TOEFL or any English level degree is required for foreigners?
I do not believe that we require the TOEFL for our online program. We can look into that. And am I saying the right thing? Or Sangeeta?
I'm gonna actually ask if Gina knows the answer to that question, because I'm sorry, I don't know, but I don't think it's required.
Okay, thank you.
I'll look it up and if people keep talking, I'll look it up and I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Does the bachelor's degree need to be in any special concentration, or does it have to be in education? Can it be in social work? Can it be in?
It can be in another field. I mean, we will take everything into consideration when we review the applications, but there's no requirement for the bachelor's degree to be in education. And so we leave it open as long as you have a compelling interest in education and can think about how you might apply the strategies, techniques, readings to your setting. I think that this program might fit your needs.
Okay. And does this qualify for the university? I work for the UIUC in the school social work department. Does that qualify for the tuition waiver program?
Anne or Sangeeta, do you know? Unmute.
What was the question again? Sorry.
It's about, is there tuition, a discount on tuition for U of I employees in the online programs?
I believe not, because all online programs are self-supporting programs. So I don't think there's any kind of discount.
Now, you can apply to our on-campus master's degree program, and some of the courses are offered online, and you can take those online. And in that case, if you're an on-campus face-to-face student, then the discount does apply.
Okay. I don't know if that would work for me because I'm 3 hours each way away. But
Okay. Yeah.
If anybody checked the mileage, they would know that I'm not living in Champaign.
Okay.
So Gina Poff from our online programs office confirmed what I just said, which is that online programs are self-supporting programs and do not accept tuition waivers.
Okay.
And I also want to alert that there's an answer for the previous question. Julio, I believe, had a question, and Gina Poff confirmed the requirements. So have a look at the chat when you get a chance.
Okay, so the TOEFL is required for international students. Thank you.
I currently work in higher education and have a great deal of interest in learning and curriculum development, particularly online. But I already have a master's degree, and I was wondering if there's an advantage to getting a second master's versus getting an EDD.
What's your master's degree in?
MBA.
Couldn't tell you about whether it's an advantage, but that you could get another master's degree because in curriculum instruction, because it's in a field that's different from. So if you already have a master's degree in education, then the answer to that question would be no, you should pursue an EDD. But the fact that your master's is in another field does not disqualify you from getting a master's degree in curriculum instruction.
And if I could just add to what Sarah said, I think it will be a great idea to have an education layer on top of an MBA. You would be a very different type of an MBA professional, and I would think it would give you an advantage in terms of how you think about issues. I think it would be good. It would be a great combination to layer the two.
Thank you.
Would this master's program prepare me for a teacher leader endorsement? It wouldn't provide the teacher leader endorsement, but in terms of the content of the courses that we offer, I think our degree program would certainly dovetail and prepare you for that endorsement.
I had a message I sent in chat, and this gets back to what someone was just saying on the master's program. And I apologize, I'm actually remote right now, and I'm at the beach if it's loud. My question is, so I've been in the workforce for like 20 plus years. I have a master's in public policy and administration. And right now, I mean, my background's in like program development, event planning, and professional development. So basically planning conferences for professional development. And we've shifted also doing into a lot more virtual, obviously, this last year. I guess my question is, I'm looking to get another master's just to kind of expand my background, both in business but the new learning design, I think is very interesting to me as far as a tie into professional development in business or professional development and what I do and going forward to broaden my opportunities. I mean, do you feel this program is appropriate as far as a degree or a master's or a certificate in this program? Or is it like, do people get business degrees with a concentration in new learning design? Or what is your?
I mean, I would think that if you're interested in curriculum, that there would certainly be connections that you could make to your own field. I mean, that the curriculum design course is, has a component of new technologies and what that looks like in the digital age. And I think a number of our courses also have that bent. As far as the, direct application, in a lot of ways, we leave that up to our students to make those connections.
Okay, so I would want to look within new learning design and curriculum development is what you're saying. As far as a tie-in to using the.
Yes, and we offer those courses. I mean, you might be, certainly the core course, the 501, lays the foundation for curriculum. And then some of the other courses, especially in terms of digital learning, although they are geared towards K-12 settings, there's also connections to other kinds of workplace settings, as well as informal environments. Is that right, Mike? You can. say more about that.
Yeah, and I think there's, you know, especially through the digital learning concentration, the courses and the work can be customized sort of so that the projects you're doing fit the trajectory that you're sort of desiring to get out of it. Like we have students right now who work for like large like makeup companies and trying to understand how education falls into the kind of work they do, right? We have other people who are trying to do like educational design to work in the private sector in like sort of ed tech and all that sort of space. So there's a lot of ways to sort of carve and shape that in ways that sort of suit what you're aiming for. Not everyone who's coming in is a teacher. I have, you know, and some are, some aren't. And I think, you know, particularly the digital learning concentration, we work hard in our classes to recognize a lot of it's sort of project-based to allow you to figure out how the readings and everything, and we work with you to apply those to outcomes that fit what you were sort of aiming to do as part of the program.
Okay, and then can you get the certificate of like the certificate of learning in digital learning? It's like what the CAS versus a master's, or like if I wanted to start with a certificate, can then I transition to a master's if I want to go further deeper into it, if I feel like it's appropriate, like that I can get more out of it as a master's program?
Yes.
Okay, so you could, okay. And it's the same application process for the initial certificate, and then you would like reapply for a master's if you wanted to continue?
Sangeeta, do you want to talk a bit about that?
So you can't see us, but we were all nodding our heads. Right, so you can the certificate of specialization, which is a college level certificate. The idea is of exactly what you were saying. So students who are not sure, maybe they can start with a certificate and then continue with a master's, but they will have to apply to the master's program and get admitted. But these courses are envisioned in such a way that they stack into a master's program, into the appropriate master's program. So you'll have to look at that closely to figure out what master's you want to take. But in general, the certificate of specializations are stackable, so they can go into a master's program. Did that answer your question?
It did. I think I might need to reach out to someone just to talk more to get an understanding of like the stacking and trying to piece together to me what works for me for what I do, kind of, that there's different areas that I don't know that this program is 100% like, since there's a lot of education component, that there's definitely an area of this that I think is of interest to me. And it's just whether or not, you know, there's enough for me to get the master's within this program, or like you said, the stacking and working with someone to put something together is more appropriate. But that's a good start for me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Right, and I wanted to also say that so the email address that Anne provided, the Graduate Services Office. So once you figure out a little bit more of which direction you want to go and you want to confirm, so that's an avenue for you to reach out and get some clarification. And again, the folks, the panelists on this call, they are a good. You could reach out to them as well, and you can reach out to me, of course. I also wanted to add that, especially for folks who are undecided, we do have some other information sessions. Also, I'll post a link for that at the end of the session. You can check out those too if you're not sure which way you want to go. And I wanted to amplify what Sarah and Mike said earlier. Think about, you know, the projects that you do in class, and those can be customized depending on the assignment requirements. So you can find a way to address your interests in whenever you have the opportunity as part of your coursework to choose a project on a topic.
Mario, I was going to respond to your question. So actually, I'm going to cough. So why don't we go to somebody else and then come back to that?
Hi, I just had a quick question. Does U of I offer any master's programs that specifically would prepare me for a teacher leader endorsement?
So yes, I think this is probably similar to the question we had a few minutes ago. We had an information session about the principal endorsement and the superintendent endorsement a couple of days ago. So if you put your email address in the chat or email me, and I can send you the link for the recording, and that may help you get some information on those programs.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, back to Mario. So the question was about the EDD courses counting towards the CNI degree, I think. So yes, courses from outside CNI that are in the College of Education can count towards your electives, and that would be best aligned with the Perspectives and Practices core program, because there's a lot of flexibility in that. Of course, it's a CNI degree, so we'd like you to take the majority of your courses in CNI, but there are some excellent courses in other departments that can be electives and count towards your CI degree.
So Mario, I read that a little bit different. I read it, were you asking if instead of taking an educational policy, organization, and leadership elective, you could take an early childhood elective? Is that what you were asking?
Yes, that's kind of what I was asking. Like, I noticed for some of the concentrations like diversity and equity, there's like 23 electives. So I was wondering if I could supplement some of my gaps in knowledge in those areas, such as early childhood education and pedagogy, with electives as part of the EDD curriculum.
So the EDD or the EDM curriculum?
EDD.
So I can tell you that our courses in CNI are open to students who in other programs. So for instance, I taught the CI 560, and I had several students who were in the EPOL EDD program, and those courses, as I understand, count towards their degree. But you'd have to look closely at their degree requirements to ensure that I don't give you misinformation. But as far as allowing EDD students to enroll in our CI courses, yes, as long as there's space in the course and we don't exceed our enrollment numbers.
Anyone else have a question? So I want to post here in the chat the link to some of the other information sessions that we have. Feel free to look at those events that are coming up. As I said, we had the first event a couple of days ago. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. We have 6 events lined up. We had the first event a couple of days ago, and this is the second event, and we have 4 more events coming up. So feel free to visit the website, the webpage that I just posted. If you're interested in any of those information sessions, go ahead and register. Even if you're not able to make it to the session, we will send the recording for all registered participants. So if the time doesn't work out for you and you can't participate live, go ahead and register for the event. That way you will get the link for the recording. And Anne, I wonder if you could put up the email address for Graduate Student Services on the screen once more. So if anybody has a question, very specific question, you can email our grad student services as well. Thank you.
May I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Ma'am, I won't be here for human resources development presentation later because I'll be hospitalized. Is it okay if I ask a question about that?
I'm sorry to hear that. You could ask a question and I can send it to a person. And if I'm not able to answer it, or folks on this call are not able to answer it, I can forward it to somebody who can.
Okay. I just want to know, is it just basically, do you have just one cohort a year? How many enrollments a year do you have? Do you just apply once a year for that program?
For the masters in HRD, maybe?
Yes.
Gina Poff, can you speak to the enrollment timelines? It will be similar to what Anne described for this program, but I'll see if Gina Poff can.
So yeah, for the master's degree, the application deadlines and terms are exactly the same as what's on the screen for all of the online master's programs.
Okay. So can you just explain it for me? I had a trauma, and so basically term A and term B, it means you had two programs simultaneously, not simultaneously, but you
Two
had
8 weeks, there 8 weeks. Each term is for 8 weeks.
Okay. All right.
Does that help?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I guess Marlon has a question about EDD. So currently we're not doing any webinars on the EDD program. But you could get in touch with our graduate student support services if you had a specific question about that. Okay, going once, going twice. If nobody has any other questions, we can wrap it up and return 15 minutes to you.
Thank you all for attending today. I hope you found the session helpful and in answering your questions. We hope to see those applications April 15th or the next deadline after that. So thanks so much. Bye now.
Thanks.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye now.